All right, Ian.
Let's get into a real fun topic now.
Okay.
We weren't going to... This needs to be covered.
Okay. By the way, I got a haircut last week. You probably can't tell.
No, it's fine.
She said she took off a lot, but it's very little. Anyway, so we are the official aftermarket Dead Console Back to Life podcast, besides Battle Royale. So the Atari VCS. We spoke about it, what, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
About how they're delaying it until the end of the year.
Because they're changing the chipset, which basically means they're starting from scratch.
In theory, that could be it, yeah. But now, another article posted on Medium was, what is Medium.com?
Hold on one second. This is the headline. It's very important. Atari VCS structural improvements and feature adjustments.
A comprehensive overview of the updated industrial design architecture. It sounds like a fucking white paper to begin with.
Right. But let me just say real quick what this is. A comprehensive overview of the updated industrial design architecture. No, this is a comprehensive overview of where they over-designed without checking to see if something could be manufactured in a certain way.
Oh, you think that's what happened here?
Oh, absolutely. You read down far enough where they're talking about the old sandwich rib design, they start talking about how it's too hard and it would require 10 molds. And they totally didn't fucking think about how they would actually build something.
So the ridges that they may mocked up the prototype couple with, you're like, they couldn't probably produce it.
Yeah, they wanted to make a bunch of rings to that would basically sandwich together.
That you want to rub your dick on.
Yeah, that I would slap my dick on.
So the Ian Slapple dick model is gone.
And now we have something much, much cheaper and silly looking.
Okay. So this article goes through really nothing about how this is going to work. Oh, no. What software is going to be on it.
The only thing that's mentioned is in the first paragraph. Now that we have finalized our upgrade to the new AMD Ryzen chipset, the Atari VCS team is excited to unveil a number of other changes and improvements.
So this is them backpedaling then and saying that design that you spent $3 million on kickstarting, we can't do that. Is that what you're saying? Like,
yes.
Oh.
Yes.
That's fun.
Yep. And
the team was forced to balance the original design intent against a number of practical considerations, and steadily a new path forward emerged. This costs way too much money, our design. We have to change it.
We have to change
practical.
Because we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Because you can CG render whatever the fuck you want, but then when you go to a manufacturer and say, build this, they're going to be like, okay, Haas, this is going to be a little tough to do. We can do it. It's going to cost a lot of money.
And here, until now, all renders and pre-production models of the Onyx Edition have shown the Fuji logo illuminated in red. They're going to illuminate it in white. And others showed the front panel lit with 4 small horizontal LEDs. The aesthetic looked cool and was very well received. But as the user experience team continued to work through the communication tasks that the console and its LEDs needed to accomplish, it became apparent that a consistent approach was necessary across all VCS models to implement clear messaging that avoids any confusion in the system to user communications and alerts. That's a fucking mouthful.
I need a clear communication to tell me what he just said. Wait a minute, what? So the LEDs weren't functioning to communicate stuff? We're talking about on the little Atari logo, right? Is that what we're talking about?
No. There was, on the original, it was like the Atari logo, and then it showed like 4 LEDs on the front panel. And they're saying that even though it was well received and looked very cool, they're not doing it. And they're not doing it because of communication problems or whatever.
No, it's just an extra cost.
It's just an extra cost.
LEDs cost nothing.
Yeah.
They cost almost nothing.
But it would probably increase the cost of manufacture.
And maybe the software dev team to do what they want. So they're like, we don't want to deal with that.
So all of this is incredibly flowery language to say we still don't have any clue as to what we're fucking doing.
Or we're dialing back what you kickstarted, which to me is the worst takeaway from this. You're not getting what was kickstarted because, again, there was no prototype. It was not kickstarted. Indiegogo.
Yeah.
There's no prototype, so we can just fuck around.
Yep.
On it.
And when is this supposed to be out?
The end of the year.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. We'll see that. We'll see it underneath Christmas trees.
I'm trying to compare the original Indiegogo version versus the Ian Dick Slappable version model versus the one they're now showing now. I'm trying to see what you're saying. So what you're saying is that this is, well, one piece still has ridges in it. It's just not all individual pieces they want to wrap around.
They show you, if you go all the way down to where the
like a fucking spiral sausage,
where the original proposed construction was, it was literally,
they wanted to sandwich rings.
Yeah.
I could have told you back then that was unnecessary.
Yep.
This is being designed by art wonks this console. This is being designed as an art piece that happens to do gaming on the side.
And I said that last year.
I think you did.
I said that last year, and the problem is well, okay, don't go into it expecting a console that's worth a damn. But if you liked the way it looked or something and you wanted to put it on a shelf, fine, I get it. But now even those people are going to be let down because the design is completely different. It looks a lot cheaper.
Oh, it's going to look cheaper because now you can see it's one molded piece that just has ridges in it versus individual ones.
It's very, very cheap looking.
I mean, it still has the same shape, right? The shape is...
More or less.
The shape is kind of similar. It's trapezoidal in the back. You know, it's circular. Now, I think that in this medium, I try to read all this. My mind kept shutting off about how it's like, it looks more... the floating effect. Here it is. Visually speaking, the most notable aspect of the updated design is a revised silhouette that now elevates the VCS main body to create more of a floating effect.
Yeah, because there's a riser underneath it now.
What is that? But I understand. Like, what do you mean it looks like it's floating? They just put like a
right here,
like a little.
Yeah, there's a riser here, so it looks like it's floating. That's their way of saying it's
a
on
piece
a stand.
It's a piece of plastic on the bottom.
Yeah.
It's a stand.
It's a stand
that you can't see unless you like drop your head down and look at it. It's not floating. It's got a stand underneath.
Well, I mean, basically,
it's not magnetism.
It's like saying that the Atari 2600 had a floating effect because it had a stand underneath.
Because the stand was smaller than the outside of it.
Right.
That's insane. Is that people really want out of this? Like that here's the point. Is this what consumers are do the consumers want this that they already bought? Do they want this level of nuance that you are now not just delaying this, but potentially fucking with the project wholesale? That's my question.
Right. I have no idea.
How is this going to be? First, to say you're updating the chipset a couple weeks ago is one thing, but now to say we're also overhauling the physical design for manufacturing, at some point, even the people that really wanted to say, okay, what are we doing?
I mean, I guess it does look somewhat similar, but to me, it looks maybe it's just
the shape is similar.
It's similar, but yeah, I mean, they moved the USBs around.
By adding a smaller riser under the body, we think the VCS now visually references the classic Atari 2600 design even more than before. The unit laying so flat on its body continuously came up in discussions among VCS team members and others. The team ultimately determined that the VCS should float above the base surface, just like the original 2600. Doing so also opened up some other great opportunities. Like, so that with that, they can move 2 of the 4 USB ports to the front of the VCS.
Why is that? Why does anyone care?
Well, to me, you should have it on the front anyway. But
yes.
Why wasn't that a consideration before?
Because they wanted it to look sleek. They were
now it's not as sleek. Now it's thicker.
Yes.
Because you have that. Okay.
So looking at it, yes, it does look. I mean, I do go back. It does look there's still something that looks weird about this render. This is a render, though, right?
Yes, they don't. They said these are renders that we're going to get pre-production units of. I'm getting a call from Englishtown, New Jersey. I don't know if that's my old nemesis from the flea market there. Oh. That's really weird. Anyway,
looking at the old pictures, the upper angle that they shot him from made it look more sloped on the front. But either way, this is an entire update to tell you that they're changing the manufacturing process.
Streamlined construction replaces, in quotes, ribbed sandwich. So the ribbed sandwich design is gone. Yes. Rib for no one's pleasure.
Sure.
See, I didn't realize that they were actually sandwiching layers in. I forgot about that detail. 16 layers. Fins represent the layered fins represent a bold and decisive design decision, but presented some notable engineering challenges.
Yes, because we didn't look into it.
Oh, here it is. Here's the rib. Oh my God.
This meant insane. There would have to be at least 10 plus unique tools to mold the parts, plus a lot more raw material.
There it is. If they were all individually shaped differently, you need different molds for each one of them. And that's a ton of money.
Yep.
Versus just having one plastic mold of the entire thing. That's a shit ton of money. That I cannot believe they didn't think about that early in the process.
Yeah. I mean, that's absurd.
You need tooling for each individual mold of everything you do. So unless it's off the shelf. But I don't think ribs to a VCS is something that already exists, a mold of.
Right.
That you can do. My God. What are they doing? What are they doing, Ian? I want to interview someone. I'm actually curious. How are you designing this?
Tightens every cool curve and rib of our original design, but simplifies the case components to 4 primary pieces: top, bottom, front, and back. Construction is stronger, uses far less materials, has shorter, more precise assembly times. We're doing this because it's cheaper, it's cheaper, it's cheaper.
It quickly became clear that we needed to rethink things and improve the mechanical design without any negative impacts to the aesthetics of the VCS. Okay. So these jokers, what this is telling me is this. These jokers did an Indiegogo without sourcing how much it would cost to produce this console.
Right.
They did no research, Ian. They did not go to a manufacturer and said, based on this design, what would it cost to do this? And how complicated would it be? That's what I'm getting from this.
Yeah.
Because if they did that, then they would have charged more for the console.
This is such a fluffy, like, this piece is so fluffily worded, but it needs to be, because otherwise this is just an admittance of them not doing any research.
They did no due diligence.
They didn't do anything.
Anyone, you can get a CG render of anything.
We're really changing the chipset 2 weeks ago, and now we're changing how the console's going to be put together this week. What the fuck were they selling? An idea. Like we said, they're selling a dream, an idea, a concept.
I'm disturbed now. I'm actually not angry. I am now disturbed now that the odds I gave about this coming out are now worse. Because now I realize that they didn't do the basic homework.
And nothing's happened.
They had a marketing plan. They went out and got a big Twitch influencer to appear in the video and talk about how much he loved the Atari games when he was a kid. That's fucking awesome, but you don't have a product.
Yeah. I mean, and
now you literally, I was
as
now
this shows, they don't have anything right now.
So now I'm not even, this isn't even me talking about what the fuck were you playing on. You weren't playing on jack shit when you did those marketing campaign videos, and they hired you. I'm not saying they hired you to talk about that, but they got you involved in a project that now is totally bonkers at this point. It's fucking bonkers now to me. You cannot picture a company, a reputable one, like Microsoft or Nintendo saying 6 months before, oh, the chipset's gone.
Yep.
Now, and the model of that you saw before, it's different. We can't manufacture that. We fucked up. This is what happens when you have pie-in-the-sky ideas, but you don't have the experience to back it up. This is what happens when you have a name that you bought, Atari, and now you try to pretend that you know how to manufacture a game console.
Right, exactly.
You get in over your head.
You bought a name, you didn't buy the fucking knowledge.
My God. Tooling and material expenses for the updated construction will be less. Yes, because now you have 1 or 2 molds instead of 50 of them because the ridges are gone. Like, I can't believe they didn't foresee that and put together the cost of it. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to, like, 3D print the ridges and stack them on? What do you think they're going to do?
That's the only thing I could think of.
Besides the manufacturing, to manufacture that, like putting together a sandwich probably costs a lot more if someone's doing it by hand as well.
Right.
Like, it's just more time. There's more to come. Lots more to come. We hope you enjoyed this hardware design update. Now that many critical decisions have been finalized. Holy shit. Now?
Stop saying stuff like that. Stop. Stop saying that shit. It makes you sound like an idiot.
Future updates will go inside the box to look at the internals and thermal management. That turns me on. Discuss all the great improvements and final features of the classic joystick and mono controller. Game and media content partnerships.
Meaning we don't have anything. We have nothing. We have nothing. We've just decided.
This is great. They have developer tools. So this console is going to come out. They don't have a dev tool set to send out to anyone to even potentially port this over if they have their own. I'm not even saying this is going to be their own custom software, but the fact that they don't have developer tools in place, what games are going to release with this besides the Atari?
The 110 free Atari games that they talked about. Didn't we also get like some bullshit like operating system shots at one point too?
Well, that was all of them in the marketing. In the marketing, they had a prototype and they were playing it. Yeah. They were using it.
Yeah, so it was...
What... Again, Patrick said, what were you playing on? What were you playing? I really want to know what that was.
A front-end mod on a PC? I have no idea. Probably.
It had... Well, this is PC components at the end, I guess. So it was just... Yeah. Until next time, the Atari VCS team says, yes, until next time.
This is getting juicier and juicier as time goes on.
This is becoming... what the Chameleon might have been if it got this far.
And it didn't. But yeah, this is
they realized we fucked up. We have to go back to the basics on how we manufacture and on the chip size, and we still don't have software for it.
At least At least the chameleon had its fucking mold taken care of.
Yes, yes. They started with one of the most expensive parts. The mold was gone from it.
We're gonna use from
mold.
day one. We're gonna use this Jaguar.
We bought the mold.
We've got it.
We don't have to spend a ton of money on a mold.
These people who have these. Well, I've got this mold. I guess I have to make a console out of it. I have this name. I have to make a console out of it. It's not how it works. Stop.
But they got the money already. That's the problem.
I know.
Chameleon fell apart. This didn't.
This could not ship.
We're the drunken podcast haters coming back 3 years later to tell you that this is the danger now.
Yes.
That we were trying to avoid then. But now we are deep. It's now worse. The chip thing, I was like, okay, the chip, I could buy it. But now that Ian did it. Ian was more of a setting when he did it. I could buy the chips thing. If the rest of the software was all the same and the hardware all was the same, I can't buy it now. I can't buy this that they know what they're doing if they're totally going to scratch for the design.
I don't know a whole lot about the nitty gritty, but I had a few people on Twitter tell me that if they're changing the chipset, that basically means they have nothing done.
Okay, there you have it. Well, if you have to have custom software built to rely on the chip, then I see it. Then you have no user front end, you have no optimization.
Yeah.
Then if they're trying to do something that's not just like a Retro Pi,
right? If they're trying to actually make a system,
make their own software to run.
Exactly.
Yes. All right, fun times. How many backers did this? 11,000 backers. June of last year. All right, and that money's all gone.